Hi, my name's Amelia and I'm going to be travelling to Nayara Tented Camp in Costa Rica and I'm going to show you around. Here I am very excited because today I'm going to get to stay at Nayara Tented Camp in La Fortuna in Costa Rica. I had read about this place online and I was just so excited to check it out in person. When you arrive at the resort, you're taken straight to the welcome tent. This is before you even reach reception. There's a really peaceful vibe because the walls of the tent open up straight into the rainforest. The welcome tent is also where you go if you have any external excursions booked at the resort. We did a chocolate and coffee tour, and if you want to see more details on that, you can check it out in my La Fortuna video on YouTube. But once you arrive, they will gather your bags and put it into a little cart and then drive you up to reception. Reception again is beautiful and everything is out in the open. You'll have to sign some paperwork and do the normal check-in procedures, and they'll also give you a little drink and then talk to you about the resort, give you a map and tell you where you can go and where you can eat and the kind of amenities there are at the resort. By the way, the drink was one of the nicest welcome drinks I've ever had. They will then take all your bags and they will whisk you away to your tented camp room. The tented camp is part of Nayara Resorts, which also includes Nayara Springs and Nayara Gardens, and I'll talk about that a little bit more later. This was our tent and it felt very secluded, very in the middle of the rainforest. All of the tents here are inspired by safari style tents, so they have that kind of African feel to it with a Costa Rican twist. And of course they are very luxurious. Just approaching our room, look at the door and look at the carving in the door of the animals. It's really, really well done. The room itself is quite breathtaking, and even though there are only 2 of us, I think this room does sleep up to 4. It's very well decorated and I loved the 4-poster mosquito netting, and actually it kind of came in handy some nights. They gave us some complimentary alcohol when we arrived, and then there's also this little mini bar drinks area. Everything in the mini bar I think was included in the room, so you could have as much as you wanted. I think only the 2 alcohol spirits at the top were not included, but the fridge came fully stocked. They also gave you 2 bottles of drinking water every day, but you can also drink from the tap in your room. However, we found it quite difficult because the water was so hot when it came out the tap. There's so much green in this room, and actually most of it comes from outside because they have these really large windows, and it just brings so much light into the room, but it also makes you feel like you're just surrounded by nature. They also gave us a couple of welcome gifts, which was really nice of them. They also gave us some fruit in the room, but I never like eating fruit or anything in any room, simply because I have just had really bad previous experiences of bugs. So I've learnt my lesson and I never eat in my room. There's also an outdoor shower and an indoor shower, depending on which one you prefer. This is the indoor shower, which I use most of the time. To be honest, after a few days I kind of even forgot there was an outdoor shower. The bathroom is quite luxurious, and there's also this beautiful freestanding bath, and there's also his and her sinks. They also give you fresh water again by every single sink every morning, and it comes straight from the taps because again this comes from the springs up above, and apparently it's completely safe to drink. They also give you all the necessary toiletries, and there's also a lot of towels, which I really appreciate because I think hotels never give guests enough towels. Now over here we have storage or wardrobe space. I really liked this. It's kind of a little walk-in wardrobe and it's separated from the bathroom by the curtain. There's also a laundry bag, and apparently at Nayara they will do your laundry for free. You just have to tell them, put your stuff in a bag, and they'll come and collect it and wash it for you. This bit's not as interesting, but here is the toilet. Again, there's a lot of space for a very small toilet. Also, just to point out about the windows, every single window has like this fly bug screen on it, so you can actually open the windows and don't have to worry about bugs coming in. Now let's go outside. And this is actually one of the reasons I preferred the Tented Camp to any of the other Nayara hotels, and that's simply for the view. You get an absolutely beautiful view of Arenal volcano. I can see why this hotel is voted one of the best resorts in Central America. It's a hot springs private pool, so it's always very, very hot, and of course leaves and plants are going to fall into it because that's completely natural, and they do clean it regularly. There's also a little button that you can press and that will start the jacuzzi jets for you. I'm going to tell you now, I'm a person who likes really hot scalding showers, but the pool in the room sometimes was too hot for me. I think I only managed to go into it 1 or 2 days the entire time we were there. If you don't want to be disturbed, there are no do not disturb signs to put on your room. Instead, what they do is they have this rope and you literally put it out, and that means you don't want any service and you don't want anyone to bother you. They do offer you a turn down service, but we opted out, and instead we just got our room ready for the night ourselves. They don't have any curtains, they have these heavy style safari drapes or blinds, and you literally just have to roll them down every night, otherwise the light will get in the morning. Obviously, make sure you're tall enough, or make sure you're with someone who is tall enough to help you. So every few days they will drain your pool in your room and allow it to fill up naturally. I was quite excited by this because I thought, okay, yeah, maybe the water's going to be cooler this time, but actually it was even hotter when it filled up. I could only just about get my legs in it. Let's address the bug situation. Do you get bugs in your room? Of course you do, you are in the middle of the rainforest. However, the hotel is very, very clean and the cleaners do a great job, but of course bugs are going to come in. We tried really hard by rolling a towel up against the door, but they still managed to find their way in, but that's gonna happen and you just have to accept it. We found this little guy in our room and we thought he actually might help keep some of the insects at bay, so we let him stay. However, one morning we found a beetle in the bed, so yes, I will be talking to HR about his performance. I don't really like bugs, but we managed to get this one out safely. And then we found this little guy in the bathroom, and hopefully he will do a better job than the last one. Also, special mention to the cleaners who do a wonderful job at keeping the room clean. On that note, make sure you bring smaller bills so that you can tip. It's not said anywhere that you need to tip, but we think a lot of people kind of expect it, so just make sure you have enough smaller bills. Nayara also give you this really cute rainforest journal which has details about all their excursions and also all the animals that you can see, and they even have little tick boxes so you can tick them off as you go. You also have the option of having breakfast in your room every morning, and what they do is they give you this little thing that you can hang on your door, and all you have to do is the night before you indicate what time you would like your breakfast, and then you tick off the items that you would like to have. Then just stick it on your door handle and you are good to go. We opted for in-room breakfast most mornings simply because we were up early and we had to go out on excursions. Breakfast was great, never had a single problem, all the food was fantastic. The only thing I wouldn't recommend were the pancakes because mine were a little bit dry. It's such a luxury to get this kind of food served to you in the morning because it's just so peaceful and relaxing to eat breakfast and just look out onto the view, and you get to see the volcano as well when it's not too misty. You can have breakfast at Isla, which is the main restaurant, and actually I wish we did this more, we just never really had the time. The food options are slightly different to the in-room menu options, and they also have acai here, which I really liked and I really wish you could get in-room. When you eat at Isla restaurant, you also have really good views of the pool and also the volcano. We came here quite a few times for lunch and even dinner. You can also come here if you're staying at Nayara Gardens or Nayara Springs. We also ate at Miss Amore's, not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, but it was sort of Italian-Latin fusion food. The only thing I didn't like, and I don't know if this is just because I'm British and tipping isn't as common here, but when you get the bill there will be a tip included in the price, which is fine, but then there's also room for you to add in an optional tip, and I often felt pressure to add in an additional tip on top of the tip I'd already paid. So you can get a cart to take you to the restaurants, but however I really like to walk. The only thing I will say is do be careful because I accidentally almost stood on a snake. The outcome could have been much worse because I was wearing sandals. They give you a torch in the room, so make sure you take this with you. We also ate at La Teresa, which was really nice, in Nayara Gardens, and they also had some great live music too. We didn't get to eat at all the restaurants because there are quite a lot, but just be rest assured that there are enough places to eat if you have specific dietary requirements or you're vegan or vegetarian. I have an avocado allergy and they were very, very accommodating. I'm not really a huge alcohol drinker, but there are also a lot of bars and a lot of places just to hang out and have a drink if that's what you want. Now looking to the grounds of the resort, there's Nayara Tented Camp, Nayara Springs and Nayara Gardens, and they are all connected and you can walk between each one. Here is the pool and bar area at the Tented Camp. And there's also a souvenir shop or tienda on the Tented Camp side. This shop sells mostly clothes and some other souvenirs. If you want chocolate and coffee, then go to the other souvenir shop on Nayara Springs. The Tented Camp is also near some really great hot springs. There's quite a few hot springs, and to be honest, when I went there it was never busy, it was never crowded, and most of the time I'd have a spring entirely to myself. Most of the time these springs were unmanned, so if you need towels you can just grab them from the little cabinet, and then there's also a towel bin for you to put your used towels in afterwards. I found the water in these springs to be a little bit cooler than the pool in the room, so actually they were much nicer to be in. Walking between the different hotels is actually very easy to do. There's lots of pathways, so you don't have to worry about walking through the vegetation, and you're always surrounded by the rainforest as well, and I rarely ever bumped into anybody. When I was at Nayara Springs, I stumbled upon this little coffee shop that had board games, a pool table and just somewhere to chill out. We stumbled upon a lot of signs like this that say Perezoso Sanctuary or Armadillo Sanctuary, and we thought it meant that's where some of the animals were, but it's just the name of the walk. As mentioned before, there is another souvenir shop here and they sell things like coffee and chocolate, and the prices aren't extortionate, they're quite reasonable. There's also a gym and a really beautiful yoga studio, and at Nayara they also offer daily yoga lessons. Here is some footage of the gym. I am really sorry, I actually filmed this at night. I should have done it again during the day, but hopefully it gives you an idea of what it includes. There's also a spa. I never came here, but it looks like a really relaxing place. There are also a lot of animals around the resort that you can just see when you're out and about. Here's a frog I saw. I also saw a couple of different types of birds, and if you're lucky you'll even manage to see a sloth. We also participated in a cooking class, thanks so much Nayara. This is a great end to our trip, and if you want to find out more about this you can watch my other video on La Fortuna. Every part of this hotel is amazing and I'm so glad that we booked it and came. Hope this video has been helpful, and if you're planning on travelling to Costa Rica anytime soon, Pura Vida.